I call this art: acknowledge, reference, transition. So you acknowledge the fact that they are coming at you with rebuttals and objections and all that. So you acknowledge that and you diffuse that bomb, and then you reference, right? And then you transition. So what do you transition to? Obviously, you have to follow up with a question. You can't just answer that and leave things up in the air. But I love the fact that he asked a question after that.
Let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to start with one call. I think we have, a few calls for you today. I'm going to start with this one call out in Ontario. This is Ali's call. Ali has been with us for a very similar time as Steven, 3 to 4 months more or less now. And with Ali, we've been working on homework. The homework that Ali has had has been dialing 10 to 15 leads every single day. Our biggest struggle is kind of fear that we're bugging someone if we're actually giving them a call. So I want to take a couple of minutes just to talk about this. If anybody here has a fear similar to this, like, you know what, I have all these numbers, I have, 100 leads, 200 leads, whatever number of leads you have in your system. But whenever I want to pick up the phone, I want to give these people a call, I feel something strange, like in the pit of my stomach, something saying I shouldn't call them because I feel like I'm going to bug them. If that is your issue, I would love for you to drop it here in the chat. I just kind of want to see how many people have the same issue. And I'll say this, I had this issue for the first couple of years, first couple of years. I'll say the first couple of years I was, calling strangers online. It is a scary thing to get over. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, we reviewed one of Ali's calls. And just to quickly recap, on this call, I think it was like a 20-minute long call. We've had some pretty good longish calls with Ali. The piece of feedback that was given during that call was, hey, let's make sure we're offering the in-person appointment. And when we're actually offering this, just making sure that it sounds like we are confident that this is what we want to do. We're not scared to meet people in person. We genuinely want to help you out, help you understand what your home is worth. And the best way for us to do that is if we actually set up an in-person meeting. So I got a call for you guys today, just like some of Ali's past calls. It's a longish call. I'm only going to be playing the intro and I'm going to be playing the last maybe 5 minutes of the call. It's about an hour long call, so I won't make you guys sit through the whole thing. And let me just share my screen and sound. This call, I think he just had this call yesterday with Yvette. So let me just play this one for you guys and you let me know if you can hear it.
Hello?
Can you hear this?
I'm calling for Yvette.
Okay, thank you so much.
Speaking.
Yes, hi, Yvette. This is Ali with EXP. I think you had a conversation with Ashley on our team on the 21st. I'm actually just following up on that.
Okay.
Do you recall? When this was to do with your request for a home evaluation, assessment, and I was looking at the notes, and there's a lots of,
We're going to make a quick pause. This introduction, we're about 30 seconds in. If anybody wants to open up their microphone, I would appreciate the input on what do you guys think about this introduction, right? We already reviewed this one with Ali. So we had some comments about this one, but your thoughts. Do you do an introduction similar to this? Is there anything that you modify any differently? He's about to get into some notes and the lead hasn't said much yet. Any thoughts so far? I see Chad open up his mic. Chad, what's going on?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
Doing great, man. Good to see you on this call. So, hey, quick question. Do you have any comments with this introduction?
Introductions seem to be not judgmental, but lacking confidence, maybe. And he was straightforward with it, but it felt like the initial conversation was almost pensive, if that makes sense. Lacking a touch of confidence for the person to respond back, almost leaving her in a questioning state when she answered that first question, if that makes sense.
You got it. No, absolutely right. That is the comment I wanted to hear, right? Just before I started this call, I mentioned that the comment that we had on our last call was this confidence. Whatever we want to offer, whether it's a 2-minute conversation, whether it's an actual in-person meeting, we definitely want to make sure that we are confident in the thing that we're offering, right? I want you guys to hear this. I'm glad. I'll make sure I say this. I'm glad that Ali made this call. This lead texted, it's the second time that she registered, and she originally had texted, no, don't call him, right? And I'm sure we've all seen a text like this. So he brings up that comment. I probably would have forgotten about this comment because I can almost guarantee that this person didn't even remember that she texted that, right? If we're going to do something like that, I would probably forget about mentioning that.
I don't want anyone to call me. And then there's also some okays. I wasn't sure. I said, just let me call. I will politely ask, if this is okay to have a quick chat. Are we good?
Yes and no, because I want an assessment, but I don't want anything to do on the phone. Like, just roughly tell me approximately how much my condo is worth.
I'm pausing it about a minute in. I won't ask for you guys' input here, but I do want to make sure I'm putting emphasis on this. The person who said, I just kind of don't want anything to do with anyone on the phone. This is a person that stayed on the phone for over an hour, right? She shared a lot of information throughout the entire call. call. In about a minute or so, I'm going to start skipping around a bit. But long story short, most people like Yvette, and you're going to hear it develop in just a moment. Most people like Yvette, they have tons of things on their mind and they have a lot of uncertainty. She's just not sure. She needs to sell her home. She lives in a condo currently, and she's paying more than $1,000 monthly for condo fees. Really high. So what her goal is, going to a place that is not going to charge her over $1,000. I think she's paying $1,200 a month in condo fees. Yes, Mike. What's going on, Michael?
Hey, sorry. I just wanted to drop it in here just because I've noticed it's something I've been training a lot of my agents right now. Scam season's huge this year as well, too, especially right now. And it's not just intrepidation of the sales process. I think a lot of people just don't believe that we're real people until we start talking to them.
I totally agree with you, right? And thank you so much for bringing up that comment. There's a couple of people that I'm working with. One of these people, Sarah, forgetting the last name right now, but Sarah out in Vancouver. Biggest issue for her out in Vancouver Island, retiree capital. Hey, a lot of people are skeptical because I don't know, they feel like they're going to pick up the phone and you're going to empty out their bank account, right? One quick thing that I'm going to recommend, I am always sending out looms. If you guys want to send out a loom as an automation, let me know, let Karen know, let Victor know. We'll help you set that one up. Putting a face to the name, right? Putting a face to the name, letting them know that we're local. But what Michael is saying is 100% true. If you guys have been online, and I'm sure all of us have been online recently, I've actually been seeing tons of videos, even scammers calling different police departments, right? So yes, there are scammers out there. People are concerned because it's a real concern. We're just strangers until we actually meet. Anyway, going back to this call for just a moment.
Yeah. Okay. So there are lots of tools out there which help you to do that, including ours. But ours is so there's a ballpark which is based on online SMS.
Starts explaining the
And then
difference. I can give you this range or that one.
Is to ask you what are the
Or more,
upgrades.
something more accurate.
If you want to compare your home with another, then you have to take the whole package. A ballpark is going to be a very broad. It's never an accurate. There's stories about husband and wife, realtor teams, and they can never agree. They can never agree on an evaluation. So there's no number. It's always a range. So the more accurate you are, the more money you can keep on your side. So to be accurate, you have to factor in the upgrades. You got to factor in what's the exposure. Is it west or south? How high?
I'll make another quick pause because I'm going to start skipping now. So the comment that I want to make sure I'm putting out there, we've been talking about confidence since this call started. One quick thing that I think we can all do whenever we hear someone is concerned, in this case, if that said, hey, I'm not sure I want to spend a long time on the phone, can you just help me with a range? Usually I just agree and I say yes. Look, I can start with the range right now. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. It'll take me a few minutes and I'll send this your way. Ali is doing something, which is he wants to make sure that this person is well informed on what he's going to be doing. I think that for the most part, if we know what we want to say, if we know the message that we want to get across to this person, we can say this in a much shorter way and it's going to help the conversation flow a lot more. I'll skip to the part where Yvette's starting to take control of the call, right? Ali wants to share some things, but Yvette starts getting really excited, sharing her story. How did she actually get to this condo? What did she sell? Where was she? Or, where'd she come from? So confidence, making sure that we're actually guided.
And what's the general condition? Then
skip a little bit.
Money issues.
Yeah, okay. So you figured out some solution. You said, okay, I gotta move, and then fix that. Yeah. It's so unnecessary, but on the other hand, it is because you got to keep your sanity. You got to be, you got to like getting up in the morning without all this hanging over your head. Okay, so I see 6 to 12 months. So
he's
the
confirming his
timeline has to do with, that's just you chose a random number or you got some
money issues. Money issues.
Yeah, no,
money
I'm
issues because
sure.
I don't have the money to pay for like a real estate agent to pay their whatever their fee is. Because when I sold my house to buy this condo, I ended up, I think it was about her agent's fee was, I think it was like $30,000 she wanted.
Wow. Okay.
So
right.
yeah,
money definitely being a concern for that.
That's a little high for me. But I sold my house before I moved here.
I'm gonna skip a little.
Take into effect, I'm still waiting on that. So that's my issue right now. Is
money concerns are her issues.
I don't have
think,
money to.
Yeah, I think she was just talking about the condo fees. She shares a lot about her history here and what she's doing, what she's coming from. Let me just skip all that. She starts talking about her son, and her main point is she doesn't want to have a
toilet.
They're getting into what she's looking for in Mississauga.
I'd say maybe another about $1,000 just for that to do all that because the vanities were like $200-300. each, and then just everything, and plus labor to do that. And then the bathtub was
There's
another
things in our condo.
15,000.
That's
And the
bonus.
curtains room, like you can't put in him. I wanted him to finish where he starts, and it wasn't. There are some that.
Sorry about that, guys. Tons of skipping around here, but again, she's just talking about her son. She's talking about everything that concerns her. They're setting up a search live on the call. She only wants a place in Mississauga, and she's only looking at condos. She's either thinking about moving laterally, or she's thinking about potentially finding something slightly cheaper, right?
Can be affordable.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is what I have in mind, that
There we go.
when I gather all this information, then what I would want to do is to bring the information to you so that I can explain that. And when I'm there's several other things that I can do which will actually help you.
One question.
Yes.
One question. This is not going to cost me anything.
No,
if you
not
do
at
that.
all. Not at all. It's no obligation.
Because I'm just getting an idea of how much my condo would cost me.
I'm going to make a quick pause just because I think I skipped one part where earlier Ali asked her, do you understand how realtors get paid? This is a person that throughout the call, again, I won't make you listen to the whole hour-long conversation, but throughout the call, she's constantly bringing up this money fact, right? Ali asked her, hey, do you know how realtors get paid? Similar to a response at the beginning of the call, right? Are we still okay to have this call? She said yes and no, right? Do you know how realtors get paid? Yes and no. A lot of times people, and I've noticed this with tons and tons of leads, a lot of times people, they don't want to admit that either we don't know something, right? Because, hey, I want to come off as knowledgeable, right? Anybody, I think most of us want to come off as knowledgeable. But in this specific case, there were some conversations had throughout this call where, hey, it was Ali's responsibility to say, you don't have to worry about anything right now. I'm going to help you. These are the actual steps. What Ali's getting into at this point in the conversation is he's trying to set up that in-person appointment. I want to see, I think he's not set up here. I hope I didn't skip it. But they ended up meeting at a public place first. She wanted to meet him. Yeah, they went to a Tim Hortons. They wanted to meet publicly. She publicly before she invited him over to his house. But yeah, let's wrap this one up.
I would get for it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. It's like, I'm hoping that this is not going to cost me anything to do this because I can't afford to do that.
Yeah, but what it does is it opens up the conversation. It makes you consider things which you had not thought of because this has to be done, because it's not only selling this, it's also getting to the other place. So then how this ties into the other, and then there's other information that goes into this. For instance, if you're not taking a mortgage, that's great. Then there's what we call a net sheet, which basically says that what is the real estate equation when you sell, when you buy, how much money, and then it's contingent on, it's basically dependent on the inheritance cash coming in. So when you can see that on the horizon, when you see that that's imminent, then you can start putting your plans. And if it's December, you might say, well, I won't list it end of the year. I'll list it in January, because there's some things to say that it's better to do it at that time, or is it better to do it? It depends on the market.
I'm hoping that I don't move it when it's snow and stuff. I don't want to do that.
That's right.
I don't do that.
That thing also factors in. So when you put all these things, so then all these things are discussed. It opens everything up and then basically brings clarity to your thoughts, and at least you have a path, and okay, the answer to this question is this, the answer to that question is that.
Yeah.
That is the whole idea. And then if you're working with one person who's basically helping you, then what these agents do, and if I would do that too, I say, listen, if I'm actually helping you with two transactions, then obviously you deserve a break. That's how you say.
Let me just skip a little for you guys.
Yes, that's when we go.
Make you think that's
the
good.
best version one, and that's the risk we take.
Well, I don't want to. I also don't want to make you think that I'm gonna have you as my real estate agent.
This is important.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I want to make sure that you understand that.
Yes.
No, I don't want you thinking, you got someone that I'm going to sell my condo and you're the one that's going to sell it for me.
Yes. No,
I don't know.
I get it.
I'll make a quick pause because when I first heard this, honestly, I was, oh man, that's the last thing I want to hear. But if we put it all into context, right? I spent some time listening to this call. If we put everything into context, one of the main concerns that I'm getting from Yvette, she also brings up the fact that, we haven't met each other, right? Are you local? And she asks him a bunch of questions throughout kind of like this middle part of the call. So to her, they already met in person, right? I think they just met yesterday. I wish Ali, I'm not sure if you're if you're in the call. But if he is, I would love for him to. He's not okay. So you can ask him in the Facebook group. I think he just met with this person yesterday. We'll listen to the end of the call right now. There's one comment I want to make about this. She said, "I don't want you to think that we're having this conversation and you're going to help me sell this one and buy this other one." We might get discouraged if we hear this on the call, right? If we put it all into context, and I think that's why Ali wasn't thrown off. He knows that he's talking to a person who is skeptical. This is a person who's also going to receive some inheritance. She has money coming in. She has this place that is fully paid off, but she doesn't want to pay, $1,200 every single month for condo fees. So she needs to move, and she's going to move. Her son is also a big concern for her. He just turned 18, and I think he's starting college. I missed that part. I don't know if he's starting college this semester or if he's starting next year. But anyway, let's wrap up this call. We have 2 minutes left.
Get it? Yeah, I get it. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm prepared
that's
for that. So we just have to choose a day. I know that there are a couple of things happening, and I'm traveling on Saturday. And I just sold one property, so I have to do some paperwork. And then when I'm back, I'm just back for 2 days, and I'm off again. This is summertime, family obligations, etc. So what I can do is I'm just going to look at my calendar, and then I have a number, which is your telephone number. I'm speaking to you on this. What is the best way of communication? Do you look at texts or email?
I look at both. I do both.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I'll text you that, hey, this is what I propose this time. What time of the day is good for you? I mean, you're not commuting anywhere. You're not working anywhere at this time.
We can wrap this one up. They're honestly just setting up the appointment. Anyway, main takeaways that I have for this call, I want to hear you guys' comments. Main takeaways I have for this call, we're going to be focusing on the confidence of what we're offering. The only thing I would have probably added in doing this live on the spot, it's tough. We've reviewed some of my calls where even I forgot to offer the in-person appointment. In this case, Ali did not forget to offer the in-person appointment. The only comment I do want to make is this person is saying, hey, I don't want you to think that you're getting this listing and then you're helping me buy. And, I'm concerned. I would probably add a comment where it says that, what? My whole goal is just to make sure you are being helped to the best of my ability. If you are concerned that the person who is going to help you sell this place is definitely worried about your bottom line, is making sure you're getting the most money out of this property, and that the new condo that you're going to be moving into is something that is definitely fitting your needs, and you're not paying $1,200 a month in condo fees. I want to just let you know, I want to help you out with that. If at the end of the day we meet and we're not a right fit for each other, that's okay. And the reason why I'm saying this to everyone on this call is the more balls in the air, the more people we can meet, the better. All of these are seeds that we're planting, right? That I honestly, I don't feel like she wouldn't go with Ali. In Ali, I think that this guy can definitely help her out. He's very knowledgeable in Mississauga. But I just want to make that as a comment to say, hey, if you guys are hearing this and the person is still open a meeting, you have an open door, right? Meet them, have a good impression. Michael Rossi, your hands back up. What's going on?
Just something that's been working very well for me since I transitioned into real estate is I know that if I get myself in front of somebody, I can sell them. So it's about getting that face-to-face appointment. So how I word it to them is this is 100% free, zero obligation. This is my job interview to see if I can work for you.
Exactly.
This is I just wording it as this is my time to prove myself to you. And if at the end of that, you don't want to work with me, that's my problem, not yours.
100%. And Michael, you've been with us for, geez, man, honestly, I cannot remember at this point. 3 months, 4 months, something like that. Oh, coming up on 90 days. Okay, so we're about to hit the 3-month mark with you. Good. And Michael, are you hearing the same thing? Like, are people concerned whenever you're actually talking to them on the phone? Hey, don't think that you're going to come over and we're going to sign paperwork right away. Are people saying that, or what? What are you getting with your leads?
Yes, and that concern I think transcends all other barriers. Is that at the end of the day, everybody's worried about money. So just letting people know, it depends on the person you're talking to, but a lot of times I will take a very forward approach and just tell people, hey, calm down. I am a real person. I'm not scamming you. And before we even meet, there are, with all the settlement stuff, there, we all know that there's a series of things that need to be done, but, tell them like, just so you know, this isn't just we show up and we talk about numbers and everything starts. This has to be professional from day one. So there are a few documents I need you to review before we can even have a conversation about your home and whether or not you want to sell it. And I think sending them that just the consumer notice, most people that's much more professional approach by, hey, please read this document so you understand what my role and responsibility is to you. And then, people very much break down, because at that point in time, you've transcended to another level of professionalism that most of these, and I'm just going to say words I like to use, carpetbaggers are out here just trying to get leads and just trying to get people to do what they want. So by you just saying, hey, read this, let me know what you think about it. If you you want to discuss it right now, that's great. But unfortunately, I can't give you a proper evaluation of your home until I actually see it. Anybody that tells you they can is lying to you just to get you to try to sign up with them. So let me come out, see the property, and give you the evaluation. And if, again, by the time that I'm done, if you don't want to work with me, that's my problem, and I messed up somewhere along the way. So let me come out and prove myself to you. And if at the end of it, it doesn't work out, that's fine. We can go along our way. I have had somebody 2 weeks ago had a client that I wound up signing because did the evaluation. They decided to not move forward, but I asked them if they knew anybody else that was signing a home. She gave me the number for her sister. Her sister not only listed her home, but is now purchasing another home through me. So
there you go.
Just constantly asking for, that approval in the conversation has been very big for me.
And, Michael, your comments are always definitely appreciated over here, man. I appreciate you always, having something to share. And I think you're doing some great stuff out there. I know I usually bring you up as an example whenever I get to work with someone that was kind of skeptical at first. But, man, honestly, good to have you on the call. And thank you so much for sharing these comments. I want to make sure.
Michael was a skeptical in the very beginning. He gave me a very tough time.
I was just,
Michael, you gave me a tough time. Initially, you were breaking me.
Yeah. I was ready to burn Meskula to the ground if guarantees were not met. And I don't know, man. It's a grind like anything else. You still got to put in the time and energy. It's not like Meskula is handing you settlement table arrangements. But yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I'm coming up on 90 days. I have 4 listings on the MLS. 3 of them have settlement dates in less than 90 days.
I love that, man. Dude. Well, no, good. And I haven't seen you on these for a while. Maybe this whole month I haven't seen you on these calls, I think. But good to have you back on. And one quick thing. I know there's someone else here. Just before we dive into any other calls, Steven, you just posted something. Maybe it was early this morning or late last night. I don't know if you have the ability to open up your mic right now, but I know that you're around that 120-day mark, coming up on 4 months. Steven, what happened to you? Tell me that this person that you just got that listing from was Helen. And I think for anybody that was on maybe a month and a half ago, we were reviewing a call from Steven that we had with Helen. Steven, I still see that your mic is off. Let me know if you can't speak right now. That's totally fine.
I have a feeling he might not be able to speak, but if you can, Steven, just open it up, interrupt us. That's so cool. That's fine. I did have some comments just before we did move to which I have a feeling might be a Michael Rossi call. I don't know. Anyways, guys, for this call we just reviewed, I want to provide a quick little recap. And the reason also I threw a little message in the chat for Stephanie, because we've been talking about this. There's some leads that will just be like, I don't want to call, like just text me or don't call me. And what we just saw was a call from Ali calling this lead. Like, hey, so you said don't call me. That's one approach. I've had the approach before where I just completely disregard that and I'm just like diving right in and it's okay. And I'm talking about my ISA days, right? But and it just depends. But what he did was definitely his strategy. And I know stuff. And so it was interesting to see this person saying, I don't want it. Don't call me. Ali said, I'm going to call him. And then 1 hour combo and then moving forward to that in-person appointment. So just note taken here for everyone that we're going to get as far as we want to get, right? And we just have to really discover what angles are going to work for us, how we're going to work things through in order to make them happen. And everybody has different angles. I love Michael and all of his input. It's really, really great. And so just that to say that this is a scenario that you guys have probably experienced. Maybe you would have said, you know what, this lead, it sucks. I just put them into disqualified because they said, don't call me. So yeah, these leads suck. Then again, getting an in-person appointment from that. So let's make sure we're making the most of it and just going all the way. Michael does have a comment. So before I hand it off to, I guess, Vic, let's hear Michael.
Sorry, I know I tend to get on these things and start preaching, but you're paying for these leads. Why would you not chase them into the ground? People have to flat out tell me, no, do not contact me anymore for me to actually stop talking to them. So one of the biggest things is when you look at cold calling or any cold attempts, you have 6 to 13 points of contact are going to be required to pull a sale. So you have to talk to people at least a dozen times, most people a dozen times, to be able to get them to actually commit to a process, let alone get them to the settlement table. So again, you're paying good money for these leads. Run them into the ground. If people are getting annoyed with you, who cares? Run it into the ground, because most people that say, I'm not interested in this time, or I've changed my mind, wind up being the people that come back. I just had that happen where somebody came back and was that I have annotated in the system. There are 5 contacts with them where they said they're not interested at this time. 6th contact attempt, they listed their house, their house listed, and they are also purchasing a follow-on home using me as well. So you're paying for the leads, guys. Chase them in the ground. People get pissed off or irritated. Who cares? They did the work for you. If they hang up on you and they block your calls, they're doing all the work for you. Just keep chasing them into the ground.
Man, I'm getting ready to stand up here, Michael. I cannot remain seated.
Move! I saw Michael first. Get out of here.
Quick, guys. Quick question.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, Michael, and everyone else is obviously on the call. You guys have some input here because you've done this quite a bit. I've always been a 2 to 4 contact touch guy as far as personal touch, right? And that's because I'm pretty good on the phone and I can usually get people involved relatively quickly. With these leads, obviously it's different, and I've never delved into the multi-contact where you're making 10, 12, 15 phone calls to be able to get one lead. And that's my new intention, right? I want to make 30 calls a day and have multiple touches per client every time I get a chance or contact or lead. Michael, when you're going into this situation and scenario and you get a new lead and perhaps you have a conversation or two and they're like, hey, this is kind of where I stop. I don't need any more information from you. Or you have 4 or 5 phone calls where you've made some contact, it's light interest in, they kind of don't go the way of the valuation. What is the protocol in your mind for those next 5 or 6 touches? Is it still pushing the valuation? Is it, hey, let's get in person, in touch? Or is it an email? What is the progressional steps that you guys would take as a group to make those 12 touches unique and not uninteresting or annoying to add value to get them to commit?
So do you mind if I jump in on there?
Please, we are fast, man.
So that's where I hate drip campaigns. To answer your question, drip campaigns are the thing that makes all real estate agents lazy. All this system generated crap. I love Ashley. It's a great function, but Ashley only exists when I'm sleeping. To answer your question, you have to have conversations of context with each individual person. And then you need to be making notes about that. And then the follow-ups need to be tailored to each individual person. So if you send out a generic message or generic email or any of these drip campaigns that have the generic message attached to it, people can see that. I don't know. I don't even know if I even open 80% of the emails that I even get on the daily basis. So people can see that. But and also, too, the medium with which you respond to people. If you know that you have somebody that's a text message person, I only communicate via text message with that person. If I have somebody else that prefers phone calls because they're old fashioned, then we're doing phone calls. But the check-in is always just that. It is just a check-in. If the person is ready to move, they're going to bring that up in the conversation. They know who you are. They know what you have to offer. If you've presented yourself the right way, you just have to sit back and wait for them to then decide that they're ready to take that step forward. Once they take the step forward, you're there to guide them through the process. But again, you can drag a horse to water, you can't make them drink. So there's no point in sitting there and browbeating these people into, this is what I have to offer. Here's the homes around you. This is what your house sells for. Act now or before the market crashes and all this other stuff. To me, that's just nothing but propaganda and fear mongering. The check-in is just that, checking in with each individual person. Hey, Cindy, I know that last month when we talked, you said that you were going to have to put this home buying or the home selling process on hold because your husband just found out he needs to get his gallbladder removed. I'm not going to call and even mention the fact that they're listing a house with me. I say, hey, it's Mike Rossi with Iron Valley. Just wanted to call in and see how Chuck was doing. I know he had the surgery. Any complications? How's he making out? Never once in the phone call do I bring up real estate. After that, after the initial sales point, and I've established who I am, not once after that do I ever bring up who I am and what I have to offer. If I have to reiterate that every single check-in point, I'm not effective at communication. So the check-ins are just that. I'm checking in with the person about the person, not about the selling process.
That makes a lot of sense. So in the pretext to that, so obviously that's what I do as well. So I'm just kind of verifying that I'm doing the right thing along those lines. That's post conversation. After you've gotten them on the phone, you've discussed the home, you've discussed all of the details. And now you have the valuation in your head. You've seen the CMA. You've talked to them. At that first point of contact, have you sent the CMA to them, or have you let them know what their value is? Or you kind of, because I've heard a couple of people say things different, like, hey, hold off on that value for a little bit. Don't let them know. And like, well, they specifically requested the value. When does that come to a head for you? Do you send it out immediately after that first conversation and then follow up?
So that's part of my process too. I try to be as genuine and upfront as possible. So when I get on the phone with these people, or sending text messages, they're only going to give me a few volleys before I'm immediately dismissed. So hey, this is Mike Rossi with Iron Valley. You put in your requested evaluation. I wanted you to know that your property is probably going to sell between $335 and $365. However, I can't really dial that in until we have a more specific conversation. So I throw it out in the very beginning, because most people will respond. I have yet to have a phone call with a Meskula lead where somebody has gone, oh, that's the perfect number I was looking for. People will either always give you that's too low or that's too high. That's not enough. I've done all this extra work for my house and I deserve X, Y, and Z. Oh, that's awesome. When can I come out to view that to actually see if the market's going to agree with your assessment of your own property? Or, oh, wow, I can make that much money? Yeah, but I need to come out to your property just to make sure that that number is actually guaranteed. So we can go from a $30,000 gap down to a $5,000 or $10,000 range, but it's going to require us actually meeting up and going over it. So for me, my strategy is throwing that price from my CMA right out in the middle of it, or right out in the beginning of it, and then the follow up to that is not only do I give them the number, but I send them an email while I'm on the phone with them and tell them, check your email right now. You'll see the documents I used to prepare that number and why I think that number is appropriate, because it just shows a higher level of professionalism. You're not just talking to get them on the phone. You've actually done work before you got on the phone, and you can prove that. We all know that you can just type that into MLS or into your MLS and probably get that printed out, but that's a level that most people don't do. They don't take the time to research the property before they get on the phone call, and they bullshit through it. And most people just pick up on that bullshit.
Makes sense. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Michael, definitely great comments. Thank you so much. Sorry, just before we move on, any questions, any comments, anything anybody wants to share just before we go ahead and play something else? All good?
Awesome.
Okay, good. Karen, who had this one up next? Was it Victor or was it you?
Perfect. So guys, to be honest with you, we had 2 calls today and we were kind of like, no, that one, we just want to be all for you. But today, honestly, since we do have Michael in the house, and honestly, man, this is just amazing. You are definitely the perfect living example of what a CSU agent means. And I'm sure that everybody else on this call is right there. So we want to go ahead and play a call from Michael as well. And I know Victor has that at hand. So just same drill, guys. Any comments you have, drop them in the chat. Any questions you have, anything you want. And yes, Simmer, not a problem at all. We'll let you write in. Michelle, can you give me a little thumbs up or a DM if you can hear me? We're going to have to go ahead and let this agent back in, and not a problem. Yes, definitely. And Victor, if you can go ahead and start sharing your screen, pull up that recording from Michael. And for everyone, let's take in some real good golden nuggets. If you guys have a perfect memory, I congratulate you. I don't, so I usually tend to take notes, and I would suggest you do so if you want to hang on to any information. And then, yeah, Victor, why don't you take it away? Michelle, I'll send you a little DM. Need your help here. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Manuel. And thank you, everyone, for joining today. Obviously, this session is for value, right? As we have been discussing and sharing, just kind of going about this conversations, a lot of our questions are being cleared. And this is one of the reasons why we joined this session, so we can clear out those doubts, clear out those questions, and we don't let them just kind of linger in our mind and lie to us, right? The mind play tricks, so sometimes we just have to ask, right? We have to reach out for help. So This is awesome. So I have Michael Rossi. I have the privilege of working with Michael Rossi, right, since he started. As we were discussing and talking about it, it was a lot of pushing from Michael since the beginning, but now he has become, or he is, one of the most successful Meskula agents that we're currently working with. And I love his process, and I want to dive into that because I really want to take those golden nuggets from Michael, and as he's been sharing throughout this time what he does and how he goes about with the calls. One of the things, and if I may, I might sound like my mother, but it's good that we have in these sessions, but if we don't apply them, then that's different. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. So let me go ahead and start with Michael Rossi and kind of dive into it. Please consider what we're about to dive into. Obviously, I'm going to let some time for Michael to kind of dive into the process for this call also. So please tune in.
Sir.
Hey, how you doing? It's Mike Rossi.
Who?
Mike Rossi.
From where?
Iron Valley Real Estate.
Okay. Why are you calling me?
Did you patch through with my assistant? I apologize.
No, I did not.
Oh, I do apologize. Did you fill out the survey online trying to get an estimate of what your home was valued at?
I may have. I don't know. There was so much stuff going on.
Let's go ahead and pause there. We know that, we just know right beforehand. We know right off the bat the type of client, the type of prospect we're going to be dealing with. We only have two options here. Either we play the card that Mike was going to play now, or just be like, oh shit, another lead like this. And I went over this last week. We don't respect the leads, right? So obviously respect the lead. What does that mean? Still be consistent, have the same mindset, keep on smiling, the same heart, give them a chance, right? And that's the same, basically the road that Michael took for this lead. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there. Sometimes they're going to come at us this hard. I don't remember. I didn't fill up anything. I'm not interested, so on and so forth. But let us be firm in our feelings, right? Let us be firm in our mind to kind of still maintain your posture, right? And the same mindset, and just be cool. Be very cool.
Brother. I got a couple things up there right now, just kind of asking people if they want to know the value of their home because everybody's trying to capitalize on the market right now. So if you had filled that out, my assistant probably patched you through, and I apologize. We didn't cross-check each other before she actually patched you through, so that's our fault. I apologize for that. I didn't mean to bother you. Are you looking to get a price on your house? Or are you curious about that at all?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure we know that, Michael, your assistant never patched you through anything. Like, she didn't do anything. I think that we can agree on with that, right, Michael?
So the backstory on this call, ironically, is that Ashley had reached out, and then this guy went online, Googled me, and called my actual number. He didn't call me, or he had texted me, but then called Ashley back. So I didn't know who this guy was. It wasn't like a call that had come in. He was calling Ashley back, and I didn't know that that's how the system functions. So I was confused at the beginning of the phone call. I don't know if anybody can actually pick up on that, but I had no idea what was going on when this guy first called me. So I rolled with the Ashley excuse.
And that's where I'm heading to. Did my assistant, I mean, you were patched in by my assistant, right? She let you in. And obviously that just kind of came out of nowhere. Like sometimes, I go over this with everyone that I meet, like you have to get creative. Like you have to go outside those lines, those like those kind of mindset, just those structures. And we have to get creative, and we have to kind of deviate sometimes. And that's exactly what Michael did. So, I mean, obviously he saved the lead. He continued the conversation based on that. So let's go ahead and stay away from being just a square, right? Just all lined up.
I had just had somebody come in and want to buy my house yesterday. They stopped, rang my doorbell. I'm like, where? I didn't even put it up yet. And they said, well, the neighbor.
One of the things that I didn't mention is that he followed up with a question. Look, I love this part.
We didn't cross-check each other before she actually patched you through, so that's our fault. I apologize for that. I didn't mean to bother you. Are you looking to get a price on your house? Or are you curious about that at all?
Yeah. That's it. That's where I want to stop. I call this art. Acknowledge, reference, transition. So you acknowledge the fact that they are coming at you with rebuttals and objections and all that. So you acknowledge that and you diffuse that bomb, and then you reference, right? And then you transition. So what do you transition to? Obviously, you have to follow up with a question. You can't just answer that and leave things up in the air. But I love the fact that he asked a question after that. Let me know, Karen. I'm sorry.
Victor, what was art again? What are you saying? Acknowledge?
Yeah, art is basically acknowledge, reference, transition. So
Okay,
you acknowledge the fact that they're coming after you. So you acknowledge that, and then you reference it.
Beautiful. And another note, Vic, could we possibly, maybe, I know because we're like short on time, but could we possibly not have it sped up? This is what some people in the chat are trying to, request. So if we can have the normal speed, it sounds like that one's speeded. And then maybe we could just jump through the parts that we, are like just technical. So we can have enough time to hear the call. Sound
Makes
good?
sense. Gotcha. Zach, I believe you're about to comment something. Go ahead. Oh, no? Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just love the
I was just going
introduction.
to ask about it not being sped up, so I apologize. That was it. Yeah.
Makes sense. My apologies here.
I
sped
want
it
to
up
hear the
because of
tonality
time.
and like what his. Yeah, I apologize. Thank you so much.
No problem, Zach. It's fixed. Okay. Yeah, the introduction is crazy with this one. And then what happened with this one, we're going to come to find out that he listed. Anyways, well, let me go ahead and continue.
Yeah, I had just had somebody come in and want to buy my house yesterday. They stopped, rang my doorbell, and I'm like, "Where? I didn't even put it up yet." And they said, "Well, the neighbor said you're going to be selling your house. We want to buy it for our family."
Do you have an agent that you're working with already?
No, I'm not working with real estate yet, or probably won't.
Can I ask why?
$15,000 or $20,000 in fees.
Say what? $20,000 in fees?
Well, $15,000 or $20,000 in commissions and stuff.
Well, I mean, are you looking at that as like a 6% number?
No, my house came in last year like $350 or $360. It needs some things. It needs a deck. It needs porch railings. The driveway has cracks in it. It's going to need probably some paint inside, and it's dated because it was my mom and dad. They bought it in '85.
Right.
And it has some wallpaper in the dining room, the eating kitchen. But my whole kitchen's brand new. All my appliances are new. My whole family room is new.
So he dives into condition a bit. Let me forward here.
Can I give you a call tomorrow night when you get home?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a lot of money off of 350. That's like a 6% commission. I work at 2.5, so it's just something to consider. Right now,
if you get it over 300,000, like 330, 340, 350, I'd be willing to pay that.
Yeah, let me put some numbers together for you. Are you going to be free around like 11:30 tomorrow?
I'm working 8:30 to 5 tomorrow, and I do driver's license testing.
Okay. Can I give you a call tomorrow night when you get home?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get some numbers together for you, and then what time are you normally home and settled that I'm not going to be annoying you?
Always. Oh. Well, I'm going to say around.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will give you a call around just after 7. That actually works because I'm taking my kids to the fair tomorrow night, so we'll be getting home right around that point. But I'll get everything together tomorrow, and then, like I said, I usually...
Okay, so he got a phone appointment. That for many that could have been considered a success, and just kind of maybe step away from the lead and just let it be. But what happens here with consistent follow-up, with being aggressive on the phone, as we check the recording, as we move forward with the recording, we come to find out that Mike was like, hell no, I'm not going to settle for a phone appointment. I'm going to continue to ask questions, because that's how you get control of the call. You ask questions. So he kept on asking questions and taking jabs here and there. And then I love the 10 minutes. So I'm just going to let it keep on playing here.
My assistant usually doesn't hit me with stuff unless it's going to clear over 300. It's just a different type of housing market that I like to deal with, as opposed to the underneath that mark. So if she feels that you're going to be over 300, that's sight unseen, just assessing the other houses that have sold in the area. So if she thinks that you're going to be solid over 300, I'm going to put together, again, a sight unseen. I'm just going to compare it to other houses that have sold within the area to you. But maybe, do you have any plans over the weekend? If the number sounds good, I could come out and just take a half an hour to look around the property to give you more of an exact number.
I'll have to check with her. Actually, Saturday. What's Saturday? Oh, shit. If it's not raining tomorrow night, I'm going to be at the sprint car races. My son's coming up from Maryland.
Gotcha. Well,
but if it's raining, I will be at home. And Saturday, the same thing. Because if it rains out Friday night, if they go Saturday night, if it doesn't rain, we're going to be going to the races Saturday night. So probably Saturday's shot too.
That's fine. I'm going to be in this area on Sunday. I have 2 other houses I have to go and do actual assessments on that I gave other quotes on today. So I'm going to be heading out on Sunday to go meet other people. So if you're free Sunday morning or afternoon, that I could just swing by for half an hour. That's fine. Let me get the sight unseen value for you. See if it's something you want to really pursue. And if we can get you over 300, then I would like to come out and assess the property just to see where it stands. If that's good with you.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just a raid though because we're in the process of cleaning out for my mom and dad. My dad lived there after my mom died, and
well, I'll pay you $2,000 to clean the house. Go out and rent a dumpster and clean out the house themselves. Like, there's not enough properties available right now for the amount of people that are looking for homes. So even if you need to clean it out, people are offering you as a seller, you could say, all right, well, I'll pay you $2,000 to clean the house out for yourself. And
do you guys handle all the paperwork and stuff?
Yeah. That's why I say you use a real estate agent. One, we do all the paperwork for you. You don't have to worry about it. And then two, we come with an insurance policy that you don't have as an individual seller. So if you go to sell that property and something happens, somebody can come back and sue you. If something happens during the process that they don't like, they just come back and sue my insurance company.
Well, see, I was going to go through a real estate attorney. It's my son. You can use it. It just has cracks in it.
Even if it does need work, brother, I'm telling you, with people right now and with what I do and how I do it, like it's not just doing paperwork or not just listing the house. This is talking about full circle service that I'm going to provide you, and I'm going to get it to move in a way.
I just love that I am going to do this. You know, it's just keeps on getting in control. So I love the value that Michael's providing here, because we have to think about that. How do we provide value? We have to find the motivation. We have to dive in there, really. And then we can discuss. We can actually just kind of provide and just share with them the value that we can provide. And this is Michael sharing value. And we're getting close to the end here, last minute.
You the most money with the least amount of headaches.
Well, what time are you coming?
Well, Sunday, I'd like to get out there earlier. My one appointment's at 11, the next one's at noon. So if I could hit you at 10, that would be perfect.
No, I don't know what she has planned. It would be better in the afternoon, but I know you want to go home.
No, it's honestly, my weekends are Monday and Tuesday. So I'm working all day Saturday and Sunday. So if it's better for you guys for me to come out in the afternoon, that works.
Like 2, 3 o'clock?
Yeah, that would work.
You've got my interest peaked now, so I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's start with me delivering on the first promise. I'm going to get you a market analysis together tomorrow. I'll have it done by like 11:30, 12 o'clock. So if you're on your way home from work, shoot me a call, or shoot me a text, or give me a call on your way home from work. I'll give you all the numbers. And then when we meet up on Sunday, I'll bring all the paperwork with me of how I got to that number, and then show you how we're going to either add value or take away value based on what needs to happen to the house. But again, cosmetic stuff, nobody cares about. People are looking to go.
That's it. That's it. So that's what happened, right? 10 minutes in, someone unfriendly, skeptical, not know what's going on. I didn't even recall filling up anything. To 10 minutes in, come to my house. You got me hooked. Now I'll go ahead and leave it at that. Due to time, obviously we could have elaborated furthermore. Karen, I don't know what would you think will be the next steps?
Man, no, I know Zach has thoughts and I want to hear them. So you guys, this is it. We've heard the call. Again, another person saying this one thing, and then an agent who actually cares enough to dive in and ask the right questions and gets that in person. So this is what we're seeing here today on today's call. We're going to wrap up the call. Just for your guys' comments, I'd say that. And I'm going to start with Zach, that being the case.
Awesome call. I had a big question too, because I love the route you took with, I'm going to be in the area. I have 2 other price evaluations that I'm going to be giving on Sunday, so I can just swing on by. Did you actually have 2 others, or was that just in the moment, like, oh shit, this is the best way. I'm going to be in your area because I have 2. That was such a great swing, and I feel like that really created it. I don't know if Michael can unmute or speak in, but I thought I'm going to use that for sure. Oh, I had 2 other evaluations in your area on Sunday. I love that.
So when I was talking to this guy, no, I did not have 2 other evaluations in the area. But after I scheduled his, I wound up scheduling 2 other evaluations in the area. So
you spoke it into existence.
I knew, right. And again, too, it comes back to, a lot of people would tell you to lie, sell. You have to be truthful. Otherwise, people are going to read through it, right? So like the beginning of the phone call, when I said my assistant didn't patch you through properly, I didn't lie. Ashley messed up and it didn't patch in the right way. So everybody was confused, right? So if that gets referenced in another conversation, I can remember that because that's honestly what happened. I know that I'm going to be working Saturday and Sunday. I know I'm going to be stacking other evaluations. I just haven't done it yet. So am I going to be in the area? 100%. Because if I don't even have evaluations stacked up, I'm going to be out there shaking hands and kissing babies trying to get business. So what I was working on wasn't solidified yet, but yeah, I was going to be working in that area.
That was great. And then one other thing, you really kept your value proposition at hand, right? You kept letting him know, like, your priority. Yeah, he already agreed to meeting you, but you're like, you know what? Let me start with delivering on the first promise that I made to you, and I'm going to do these things. Like that, I felt like was a really strong move on your part. Instead of just focusing on, all right, I'll see you on Sunday. Like instead of just kind of, because a lot of people forget the fact that like you're already going to be talking on the phone on Friday, and you're going to be giving them the value. So I thought that was really good too. I wrote both of those down. So thank you so much, man.
Love it, guys. Love it, Zach. Thank you, Michael. Anybody else who has a comment you guys want to drop before we head out today? This has been an amazing call. Thank you guys all for your time. I know Stephanie's been super active. Anybody want to wrap up with one last comment? Are we good to go shake hands and kiss some more babies? I do see someone speaking. I am thinking Julie's not here. It's speaking over there. So just making sure. Yeah, let's go kiss some babies, Steph. Let's go kiss some babies.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we're good to wrap it up then. I don't know, Manuel, if you had something last minute. I'm all good.
Yeah, no, all good. Just Johannes, any sort of comments? I see your mic is open. Just want to make sure no comments on your end.
I'm good. I'm sorry. I just pressed it.
All good. All right. Well then, guys, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you liked it. And tomorrow, 1 p.m., we're meeting up with Barry Jenkins. So thank you.
Yes.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, guys. Have an amazing Thursday.
Have a great one.